Want a business you love that pays you well? Want a lifestyle where you can do what you want, when you want? Then you are in the right spot. It's time to overcome online overwhelm with OnlineMasterPlanSeries.com. Here's your host and one of the OMS mentors, Laura Wage.
Keith, as everyone knows, you are a global Twitter expert. We love watching everything that you do on Twitter. So I want to know, since you are the expert and you have mastered Twitter, what is one specific area or maybe even a task within that platform that you can easily delegate so that someone can lighten their load when it comes to having a massive presence on Twitter?
I'm so glad you're asking that question, because this is something, this email, this podcast is something you can give to your VA today, and they can hit the ground running with this exact strategy. So I want you to start thinking about tweeting in 20-minute chunks. I want you to start thinking of Twitter in 20-minute chunks. What I personally do, and I'll share my exact strategy with you, what I personally do every morning is I spend about 1 hour on Twitter in 3 20-minute chunks. Now, you can do this in one block, or you can do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for 20 minutes, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday in one block. You can do it in 20-minute chunks. And here's what I do. First things first, you check who has followed you and or retweeted you, and you thank them. Now, that's a very, very simple task that should take no more than 20 minutes. But the amount of leverage that you get out of thanking someone that has followed you and following them back is more than you can believe. Because someone has gone to the trouble of following you. They've taken an action. Especially if they've retweeted you, they've actually done a conscious effort to say, that tweet's pretty cool, I'll share that again. So if you thank them, you've got a friend for life, and you've got the start of a friendship. Now, if you haven't got time to do it yourself, you could get your VA to do that. Thanks, Bill. Love following you today. Thank you for retweeting my recent article about my latest Brian Tracy quotes, or is my latest podcast, and thanks for sharing. 20 minutes, yeah? The second one is take the time to follow cool people. Many, many people miss this one. Follow using, say, a site called WeFollow, or just the Twitter search tool. There's a really cool decoder that pops up on Twitter to give you suggestions. Follow, say, 20 people every day that are in your zone, that are in your genre, that are related to your target market, which is why it's so important to know what that is. And some of them will follow you back. And when they do, you've got a connection. It's like someone ringing you saying, Keith, I saw your ad in the Yellow Pages. I got an old one because they don't make them anymore. And and I just thought I'd ring you and find out what you're doing. You know, what do you sell? Can I come and have a look at your stuff? So when people follow you back, they've given you permission to engage. Yeah. And sometimes the best way to do that is to follow people first. The best way to have friends is to be one. Yeah. Now, if you don't have time to do that, you can get your VA to follow, say, 20 people a day using a tool like WeFollow, and you will get more followers that way, more engaged, real followers, yeah? And the third one, again, this is what a lot of people miss, is actually spend some time finding great articles to share using the 80-20 rule, the 4-to-1 rule, what I personally use, 10-to-1. The kudos that you get from sharing articles for others is well over and above what you can actually personally imagine. I mean, I know I state this and it's obvious, but if you go to the trouble of sharing someone's quotes, sharing someone's article, sharing someone's blog or event or video, out of the goodness of your heart, you've actually started a chain of events going that could lead to a JV, could lead to you being asked to speak at their event. They could become a client, they could become a friend. And again, this is something that you can outsource to a VA. 3 20-minute chunks. Does that sound doable? Does that sound relevant?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, again, I don't want people just thinking, oh, I have to do that myself. I don't have time for 3 20-minute chunks. What you just said is so critical. You can outsource it. Now, you may even find that you want to outsource your VA doing it 3 days a week and you do it 2 days a week so that your VA sees exactly how you do it and gets a flavor for how you answer and how you respond. That's what I did with my VA when I was training her, how I like to thank people, how I like to follow back, what makes somebody a good connection for me to have. So it's so powerful when you do that and you break it down in that way.
Yeah, look, I think it's very, very important that you actually get into the habit of now starting to think about delegation. And your course, the delegation module, which is absolutely astonishing, I'm only up to part 6, is just, it's a real mind spin that you know, we've been tricked into thinking we have to do all this ourselves. Not only is there 6 social media platforms, we've got a blog and we've got to have a podcast and we've got to do videos and we've got to do speaking gigs. No wonder we're all stressed.
That's it for this episode. Don't let your next promising idea stop dead in its tracks because your overwhelm gets in the way. You need our free tips. Head on over to overcomeonlineoverwhelm.com now.